Thank you for choosing the Kegel maintenance videos. Today, we will be replacing the cleaner pump tubing in your IKON Lane machine. I've taken the liberty of removing the recovery tank as well as the top lids from the machine. If you need assistance with removing the lids, reference our lid removal video. Before we begin, I'm going to place a rag beneath the cleaner tip and beneath the pump assembly to prevent any drips. First, we will want to disconnect our feed lines. We will first want to label our in line on the left side and our out line to the cleaner tip on the right side, noting that the pump rotates clockwise. To label the line, either use a Sharpie or a zip tie to label which line is which. To disconnect the line, compress the gray ring and gently pull on the tube. Do the same on the other side. Another helpful tip after labeling which line is which is to use one of the fittings off the pump to plug the lines. I've also taken the liberty of loosening our hardware on our pump assembly. Remove the 4 knurled screws, being cautious of the washers on the back side between the pump and the motor assembly. With the pump out of the machine, we will now want to remove the old Norprene hose. Paying attention to the orientation of the elbows, we will gently separate the bells and place to the side. Undo the hose from the bell assembly and discard. Take your new tubing and the top portion of the bell assembly. Place the tubing with the elbow facing up about halfway into the pump. Gently push the tubing past one of the bearings into the crevice. Take your key and slide over the shaft assembly. Rotate and remove your key. With the tubing in line and the elbows facing up, we can now add the bottom portion of our bell. Being careful not to pinch the tube between the bell. And squeeze tightly. If for some reason you do not have your key, you can still install the tube relatively easily. Take the top portion of the pump along with the bearing assembly. Line up one of the bearings at the top portion of the pump. Take your tube and with that top bearing, put the center of the tube into the bell. Using your thumbs, work the pump past the bearing and push in. Do the same around the rest of the assembly, gently pushing in. Once there, place the tube in the grooves and make sure they are even. If they are not, give them a gentle tug. Once complete, take the lower bell, slide it over the shaft, making sure our tube stays in the groove. And gently squeeze shut. With our tubing now replaced, before we reinstall the pump assembly, a helpful tip: use a small dab of super glue on the washer. Do a dab on the pump, 1, 2, and place the washer center. Do this for the remaining washers. After applied, Let sit for about a minute before applying the pump back to the machine. Before reinserting into the machine, make sure your bearing shaft is in line with your motor shaft. If it is not in line, use a flathead to slightly turn the bearing till it's lined up in place. With the hardware back in place, finger tighten all knurl screws until they're snug, being careful not to over tighten. Snug with a flathead screwdriver. With the pump reattached, we will now replace our feed lines. Remembering the orientation and the rotation of the pump, inline here, rotation clockwise, outline here to the cleaner tip. With the pump fully installed, you will now want to run a cleaner calibration test. If you need assistance in doing so, please see our cleaner calibration video for the IKON Lane Machine. Once you complete your cleaner calibration test, replace the recovery tank, and we recommend you run a clean only option